So the results have been counted and verified, and the winner of the Ultimate CEO Competition of 2022 is Derrick Hines. Woo! Well done, well done, well done. Derrick's fantastic to work with. He's a great student of business. In the CEO sessions, it's one of the highlights when he comes on and he talks. He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent, definitely a student of business. I suspect has been around the coaching circuit a lot, different business coaches, books, different people. So I love listening to him. Very, very smart business, as you've seen. Profitability, like, incredible. But something that's available to every single one of you. What's your secret?
I think there's two things. One, an obsession with people really changed gears. Like I had a few years where it was, I mean, we talked about it, everything was hard. And when we switched to being obsessed with people, of how do I communicate better with my people, how do I, attract patients and obsess over their experience with us and their results with us, and we just stay obsessed and we're constantly trying to figure out how to improve all aspects of people, everything else gets easier.
What took you to that point? Was there a level of frustration, or was there just what was the inflection point where you realized, actually, this business game is all about people?
I've talked with a lot of people here. So when I first got into business, it was like, when I get here, when I'm a successful practitioner, I have all these patients, that's the destination I'm trying to get to. And then you get there and you're like, crap, this is not at all what I wanted. And we never planned for after that. So when I got there and realized, well, one, having a whole year where you lose money makes you reassess some things. But two, like when you get there and you have to start to think, well, I did everything I wanted to do and I'm not happy with it. Yeah. What do I really want after this? Those questions start to marinate, if you will, and start to grow. And if we just keep asking those questions, like our brain is geared to give us the answer. If we just keep thinking about those questions, ideas will start to come. And you start realizing, if I change this, it would be better. If I change that, it would be better. My life would be better. I mean, I take more out of our conversations about life and how that then affects the business than going the opposite. I tried the opposite. The opposite doesn't work.
Said yesterday, success in life and business. I spent 6 seasons in professional sport. I don't know if many of you know that, but I was a soccer physical therapist for 6 seasons. And it took me a little while to realize that even though they may have been very good players, they weren't necessarily great performers, great team players. They just couldn't do it. They had fantastic skills, but what was missing, 80% of it's psychology. You look at any team sport, any professional sport, business is just high-level sport played with numbers and people, right? We're not kicking a ball or throwing a ball. We're dealing with customers. And ultimately, the same rules apply everywhere you look in life. When you see a top performer anywhere, you've got 80% psychology, 20% talent. It's so difficult for you to be a great business owner when you've still got doubts. You still got the doubts, but you're consumed by the doubts. That's the difference. It's one thing having doubts, and that's what I was kind of getting at. That it's one thing to have doubts, but it's another to be consumed by doubts. If you focus only on the business, and that's why guys who've hung around for long enough, you've seen a shift in a lot of what we teach to make sure that we encompass enough of the psychology stuff, the you thing, the stuff in your head, the you Inc., as I call it. There's a business Inc. Incorporated, and there's the you Inc. Incorporated. If we get this one right, it's my experience that this just then, again, there's your coronavirus curve. There's 2 or 3 things where if you just get them right, the rest is pretty simple. But if you've got a business owner that's erratic, emotional, worried, lacks just that little bit of tenacity, can't stay focused, frightened, but the fear consumes them, then no matter what you get from a business coach or what you get from a life coach, like, it doesn't really make any difference. Like, nothing's going to change. So you've got to get the 80% psychology right. You've got to get your thought processes right.
Well, we talk about it a lot. Like, you're going to have doubt to go into something that you haven't been to before. You're going to have doubt to hire the first employee. You're going to feel doubt to go to a bigger location because you haven't been there. But you have the self-belief that you have the team around you, you have the consultants, you have the coaches, that you can figure that out. Can you feel the doubt and do it anyway? Yeah. And that's whenever you really start to move. Because if you're going to continue to grow, you're always going to be putting yourself in a situation where you haven't been before. I mean, you've talked about this a lot. Like, you know, today is the first day that I've run a team of 27. Yep. Like, you know, so how do you get to those sections when you're going to feel the doubt every time you go into a new situation? You know, we have to start to build that muscle, and it's a muscle. You know, the more you feel it and do it anyway, and then learn and feel it and do it anyway, then you can start to open that vision up and get bigger and bigger. I think one of the challenges that we all have as we get to these points is, how do you continue to see that vision of where you're going and not let those little doubts of what could go wrong start to... Your brain is a heat-seeking missile. Like, what you keep focusing on, that's where you're going to keep going. And a lot of people, we start trying to go away from the fear, away from the downside, but your brain can't compute that. If all we're thinking is the ways that this will fail, and we don't keep an eye on, like, this is where we're going, this is what success looks like, I think it makes our job much harder whenever we're trying to make progress towards that, because we're running from the negatives, we're running from the downside, we're not going towards, you know, the success. And so that's where that progress, you know, for all of us, we just have to keep going back to it. What do we want? Why do I want to do this? Why do I want to do that? Why? You know, the 3 whys, and we keep digging, because that continues to push us towards what we want to go towards, what life we want, what business we want, and not away from, you know, what we don't want to happen. Our brain's not very good at doing that. So that progress of going towards it is really, really helpful.
You guys have nailed it, right? You've already got what you need. You've got base camp. I would call it base camp. You've got the ability to make $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year with your eyes closed. Like you've got that ability to do that. Not to mention all of the other skills that you've got that would probably make you the best clinic director for somebody else, right? Not ideal, not ideal. But when you realize that you have got that gremlin, you know, you do need to take care of money. You do need to take care of the kids and lights and electric and all that type of stuff. But you're always going to be able to do that. So everything else is just fun. You can't fail, because you won't fail. Because even if you do fail, you'd have loved it anyway. So you can't fail. And if you adopt that mindset and you stop worrying about what everybody's thinking about you, the way to put the fear to bed is to remember what you've already achieved. That allows you to take a few risks. And more importantly, actually enjoy the fucking thing. The base camp, worst case scenario for you, is somebody else's dream, by the way. It was a dream for you at one point. Yeah, it's evolved and it's got bigger. But if we had to go back to just making 80, 90, 100,000 a year, I think we can be all right. We can live in a nice house and have a nice little life. We can get on. We can live our little lives. We'll be safe. We'll be all right. I'm saying the fear that you've got about losing it all is not true. This is the last thing. Somebody with a very big vision. That's what I want. They have a huge imagination. Somebody with lots of fear in their head has a big imagination. We both have the same tool, is what I'm saying. It's a tool, it's an instrument, it's a hammer. This thing, you can hit it however you want. You can have the fear stuff, or you can have the, this is really cool, big vision stuff. I really want to go and build this business. I really want to go live this life. Derrick, you're a star. Amazing.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Woo. Well done, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.